The data lied to us about Mbeumo. We need to have a conversation with the data man.
Okay. Well, I feel like I might qualify as the data man.
The data man. Why? Mbeumo's brilliant again.
All right. Well, let me tell you what's up because it actually is kind of interesting. Nicolas Jackson. A lot of people are thinking about selling him. I think it's a really interesting conversation, genuinely, and I think we need to put it within the context of the other forwards right now.
Yeah. There may not be anywhere to go.
Gameweek 21 captains. Let's go through these because, this is actually an interesting week.
Salah's facing the super team.
Yeah.
So could we look at a differential?
Hello and welcome. Oh, that was really jarring, actually. Let me start again. No one wants to hear that first. Hello. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Stick to FPL podcast. We're back in Big 2025. I'm here with Sim. Hello, Sim.
Hello, I'm good. And we are indeed back in Big 2025.
Yeah, Game Week 21. It feels like it's been a while since we've done a podcast.
It has been, depending on how you want to think about it, a week and a half.
Is that it?
2 weeks.
Is that when that... Yeah, I feel like it's been a couple of weeks since we last recorded, which is crazy.
But we did release an episode.
We did. The most cooked episode of all time.
Yeah, there was no drugs involved. I know a lot of people are asking about that.
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
we were just really bursting out laughing because of how silly an episode it was.
Yeah, because we were recording like when we didn't even know what happened in the games. But
everything we said went wrong.
Yeah, it was terrible. But like this is a proper episode again, which is nice. And apologies, it has been a couple of weeks, guys. Obviously, Christmas and stuff. I've had my birthday as well, some family birthdays. I've had, including myself, 3 family birthdays in the last week.
Brilliant.
Well, week and a half.
Brilliant. Been my birthday as well.
Yes, been your birthday as well. Everyone's had a birthday. I'm sure a few of you guys have had birthdays too. So if you're out there and you've had a birthday, happy birthday.
Are you Capricorn?
Yes.
Capricorn gang.
Are you a Capricorn as well?
It's my birthday, yeah.
Oh, cool. Do we believe in that? I feel like we leave that to the horoscope girls out there.
No, but I don't like how accurate it can be sometimes. But maybe it's just sort of...
Okay. How accurate can it be? You're a person with a lot of determination who likes to get things done. So everyone.
No, you know what? The thing is, a lot of people guess that I'm a Capricorn, which is why I'm like...
Well, 1 in 12 people guess.
that's not how the odds work. Actually, maybe... You know what? Can a maths person tell me if the odds work like that? Well, no, because that would assume that every person in that set would be guessing one of those 12. Anyway.
Oh, no, I was going to say, like, whenever someone says, "Oh, can I guess your star sign?" without knowing your birthday, I say yes. And I say, "Oh, I think you might be, I don't know, Aquarius." I say yes every time. Whatever they say, I say yes. How did you know?
What a troll.
How did you know? Oh, and then they'll go into the elaborate explanations. Oh, yeah, you're spot on. Yeah.
I'm going to start doing that.
You're so intuitive. Oh, man.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway, FPL. That's what this show's about. Sponsorship plug.
Quickly.
Go on. Quickly?
Very quickly.
Have we got places to be?
We have 4 seconds.
Okay. Fantasy Football Hub. Go and subscribe to it. Anyway, back to the main show. No, but guys, we've got the deal is still running until the Game Week 21 deadline, which is Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. 30 days free trial, which you can still get access to, and 30% off on paid memberships as well. So that is still running until the Game Week 21 deadline, because I spoke to Hub earlier and they told me that. So loads of people have been signing up to the free trial. Lots of people seem to be really, really appreciating the stuff, which is amazing. We know that you guys will love it. We use a lot of the stuff to make these podcasts, for me to make the videos. I guess for you, Sim, when you're making TikToks and stuff, you're on there referring to it. So like these are the pro tools that the content creators are using, and a lot of people out there, I would say that a lot of people in your mini leagues are probably using Fantasy Football Hub. So if you're not on it, what are you waiting for? Get involved. Link in the description and wherever else.
I would also ask anyone who has actually tried the 30-day free trial, let us know in the comments. How do you find it?
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. It's been so long since I first started using Hub. Like I've forgotten almost what it's like to not have Hub and what the difference is from an FPL experience. So yeah, let us know if you are like a new Hub user, maybe this season or maybe in the last couple of months. Let us know how you're finding it and what you like about it as well, because that's good feedback.
And what you don't like about it.
Well,
Tell us what you don't like about it.
don't tell
Because it's feedback, right? And we will feed it back to Hub and say, hey, the people don't like this.
Okay, you can feed it back to Hub. I don't want to talk to him.
I'll talk to them. I'll talk to them later. You sort this out.
Sort this out. The people hate it and they hate you. But anyway, look, it's been a weird game week 20. I feel like it's one of those weeks where, unless you had a select few players, you probably had a bad game week. Unless you had Mbeumo, Raul Jimenez,
Gordon.
not even Gordon. He scored 7 points.
It's decent.
It's better than nothing, but like that is not a revolutionary score in the same way as an Mbeumo 19-pointer is.
Yeah. Kirkes,
yes, I'll definitely throw him in there. Like, I'm struggling to actually think what other players. Haaland, yeah, I always forget people still have him. Like, I've almost put him out of my mind in terms of FPL.
What was it? He got 2 goals. What is that? A 10, 13 pointer?
He got a 13-pointer, yes. Well done, spot on. Like, Wissa maybe, 11 points. But aside from that, it's like Savio or Barkley or Vandenberg, who's on everyone's bench, or McAllister or Bailey. Like,
or Chris Wood and his 25-pointer.
Well, we don't know yet because we record before the Monday night fixtures. I think he's blanking.
I think he's going to get 30 points.
3-0.
3-0, game-breaking.
Wow.
Absolutely. What's that, like 7 goals?
I can't see that happening. And you know why? Because I actually don't think Wolves are that bad. Like, I was looking through the numbers over the last couple of weeks because I was thinking about buying Wood last week. I ended up going for Gabriel Jesus, which hasn't exactly worked out so far.
What did I tell you about Jesus? Since the 3 game weeks that have occurred, since I told you Jesus is a scam, he's had 1 goal.
What? Wait, since he scored against
Crystal
Palace, scored 2 goals and got 1 assist. Yeah, since then he's played 3 games, has 1 goal, 1 assist. That's not that bad. They were both in the same game.
They were in the same game, so 2 blanks.
Against Brentford.
Blanks,
he has had 2 blanks, yeah.
And then the goal and assist. I didn't realise he assisted that game, but fair enough. But, I mean, are you slightly more concerned now?
No.
You're not concerned at all?
Not really. And we're going to talk about forwards today.
Okay.
And I think when we look at the comparison between forwards, it becomes pretty evident pretty quickly that actually, like, pretty much the best you're going to get outside of Isak right now is like a return every other game kind of ratio.
I'll save my opinions for the forward section.
All right, cool. Well, let's start off with we mentioned Bryan Mbeumo already. Let's dive into him because after a 19-pointer, it is impossible to not talk about him.
Whoa.
Because
let's do what?
So revolutionary in the game week where no one else is scoring points. People's heads will be turned by Bryan.
Obviously, the narrative has drastically changed.
Yes, it has. It has.
What does the data tell us has changed?
Well, the data tells us that actually, obviously, I don't know if you will remember, like, maybe what was it, 5-6 game weeks ago, there was a period where his data was just on the floor. Like, and you know, you could see it when you were watching games already. He was barely shooting, barely creating. And we spoke about it on the pod. Actually, since then, there has been a slight uptick in his data. It's not been crazy good or anything, but it's been fine. It's been okay. And that's kind of culminated with the Southampton result where his data against Southampton was genuinely crazy. Like, that would be one of the best single game week like data performances that we'll see all season. 1.28 XG, 0.48 XA. Like, that is incredibly high. Like, we see that very, very rarely. So he fully earned his points. He deserved his points. Like, there's no skating around that. His data outside of that in previous game weeks is okay. It's fine. But all in all, when you add it all together, we see on the graphic, we can see that his non-penalty XG among midfielders per start over the last 6 game weeks is 0.27 non-penalty XG per start. That's pretty decent. Has been massively inflated by that Southampton game, but still, you know, it's good enough. Shots 2.2 per game. It's fine. 0.25 expected assists per game. That's fine. 2.3 key passes per game. That's fine. This is good. It's decent data. It's fine.
For me, I think this was inevitable. What's happened with Mbeumo has been inevitable.
Yeah.
Because I'll say what I said before last time. It's Mbeumo. We know who he is.
Yeah, we know what he's capable of.
We know what he's capable of. And it's that sort of long-term consistency that you get with Mbeumo. And I was eventually one of the people who sold him as well.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can call it regret, but it's one of those things where in FPL, there's certain players who are just always good to have.
Just those set and forget players.
Yeah.
You build your team around them.
Exactly. And like, especially at certain price points, like a Haaland at like a 10, 11 million would have been a set and forget. Like you'd just eat those blanks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But Mbeumo is one of those players. And I wonder whether we've kind of just got a little bit too excited as not just us two, but as FPL managers in general over this whole winter period. And been like, okay, new toy, Enzo, Ahmad, this person. I went for Jota. You know what I mean? So I wonder whether we kind of got a little bit too excited. And there's a certain point where you're like, okay, this is a good player. 90 minutes, penalties, good attacking team. You just leave him in. You just wait it out and the points will come.
Yeah. It's a really good point. Really good point. I think you probably hit the nail on the head, to be honest. But regrettably, I don't want to say most players, but I would say that the vast majority of active managers probably have sold him. There will be people out there saying, "Oh, I didn't sell him." Yeah, obviously not everyone sold him, but like a lot of people have sold him. The question is, do you bring him back ahead of Man City, who have seen the beginning of a resurgence for them? It's probably a little bit early to say that for certain, but they have got a couple of results now. We know what people say about Man City second half of the season, different beast, blah, blah, blah. Is that going to be the same thing again? I don't know, maybe. Then Liverpool after that in 22, and then Crystal Palace away in 23. And I don't think that is a amazing fixture. It's okay. Do you hop on Mbeumo straight away now? Do you wait a couple of weeks? Is he in your thinking to bring him back?
He definitely is. He's one of the top 3 options for me at the moment, despite those fixtures. And those fixtures look scary, but they're not.
Yeah.
Right? Man City at home is a brilliant fixture. That should not be red. That should be a great at worst.
It's so difficult to quantify at the moment. Like they're not the same City as they were a few weeks ago, where you would genuinely target them necessarily.
I don't think that's true. In the last 2 weeks, or the last 2 game weeks, they played Leicester, beat them 2-0, and they got absolutely smashed. They got absolutely terrorized in that game. And they won 2-0 is because Leicester missed on their chances. If that shows up in the data...
True. Yeah, no, it does show up in the data, yeah.
It shows up in the data.
Yeah, it does.
And I didn't watch who did they just play? Crystal Palace? Who did they just play?
West Ham beat 4-1.
West Ham. I didn't watch their game. Haven't seen the data, so I'm not sure what's happened there. But to have given up that many chances to Leicester tells me nothing's changed. Nothing's changed.
Okay.
They might start scoring more now. Something might be clicking in attack. But West Ham are a poor defense regardless, right? But for me, that's a great fixture. The Liverpool at home game, I can either play it, I can bench it, whatever. I'm not that fussed about it. Crystal Palace away, middling fixture.
Spurs, it's not a bad fixture.
Yeah, Spurs, West Ham, solid fixtures.
Yes, good fixtures. Yeah.
So for me, he's definitely on my radar, and I've got a Jota-sized problem at the moment. So this could be a route I go, or obviously another midfielder, which I'm sure we'll talk about soon.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I actually have no problem with people buying Mbeumo. I think it's not bad. I mean, you can't see on here, but Gameweek 26 fixture is actually Leicester as well. So there's a decent run in here. I do agree that maybe Man City and even Liverpool, based on that performance against Manchester United, can be got at.
They've got a left side problem as well.
Yeah. Bryan Mbeumo could potentially get some FPL points against anyone. Like we've seen it. I mean, he scored against Arsenal.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's just a good FPL asset in general.
Have you had the chance to watch any Brentford recently?
Watched him against Arsenal, obviously, last week. I didn't watch the Southampton game in full.
What was the positioning like from that game? Do you remember?
He was like it was non-existent. But that's when you play Arsenal, you don't see very much of the ball. You get an odd little break occasionally, and Mbeumo scored, wrong-footed the goalkeeper from a pretty. I don't know, it wasn't an easy chance. It wasn't an easy goal to score, but he took it really well. We know he's a fantastic finisher, but there wasn't many chances in that game, and I think the general theme is that he doesn't get too many chances, but he's just been so clinical when he has got the chances.
Yeah. Plus the pens, man.
Plus the pens are always useful. But here's the thing. He's not going to play Southampton every game.
He's about to play Man City.
Yeah, but come on. Southampton are the worst team we've seen in the Premier League in what? How long? I can't remember a worse team in the Premier League than Southampton. Like, all of the 3 newly promoted teams last year were better than
United were very bad.
Well, at least they could defend.
No, not the last year. The previous.
Okay, yeah, they were pretty bad, but I would say Southampton are worse. How many points have Southampton picked up this Premier League season?
6 points.
6 points.
Yeah.
In 20 games.
Yeah.
That's
been mad at it.
Ludicrous. They could genuinely finish the season on 10 points. That is unheard of.
Would Derby get 12 or 11 or 13?
So have a look. Derby worst Premier League season.
I think it was around about 12 or 13.
Let's see. 11 points.
11 points.
So, like, Southampton are like on track to match that. So, like,
oh my God.
It's pretty crazy. They've already conceded 44 goals in 20 games as well. Goal difference minus 32. They've only scored 12. Like, they're an awful. Like, respectfully, it's difficult to say it with respect. They're not good. And
pricey.
And like, yes, Mbeumo did the business there, but if you're expected 19 points against any of these other opponents, it's just not going to happen.
You're not going to expect 19 points from any player that you pick up.
Yeah, but then is it just knee-jerk? Because before that, he scored a goal against Arsenal, which was very well taken, but it's not like he had a whole bunch of chances. Before that, blank against Brighton, blank against Forest, scored against Chelsea, goal and assist against Newcastle.
Double return against Newcastle. In the last 5 or 6, he's been doing a lot better, and it feels like every other week he's been punishing.
He has been doing better without a shadow of a doubt.
And I'm not saying you can expect double digits in City, definitely not against Liverpool, but there's opportunity here. Like, who would be surprised if he picks up 4 returns in this next 5 or 6?
And I think you would take that.
You'd of course take that.
I think you'd take 3 and 6.
Yeah,
for midfielders right now, given the game state.
Given that his returns tend to be goal dominated, like you'd definitely be happy with 3 or 4.
Yeah,
that's like 8 points, maybe a 7-pointer in there.
Yeah,
and you take it.
Yeah, you probably get a 10-pointer in there somewhere as well.
Yeah,
from if you get a few bonus.
Yeah, I'm telling you, West Ham Spurs. Lovely. Maybe it's a entry point thing, and maybe someone might think, okay, you know what, the next 3 might not be time for me to pick him up. The 3 after that, Spurs, West Ham, Leicester, might be a better point to pick him up.
Yeah, really good point.
But I mean, I'm really keen to talk about midfielders though, because I wonder who else could be competing at the moment.
Well, let's have a look. So let's see where Mbeumo sits among midfielders. So what I've got today is a list, and this is all data from the Fantasy Football Hub website, of course, Opta data. And this is all midfielders over the past 6 game weeks, their expected goal involvements per start. So we see Salah at the top with 1.4 expected goal involvements per start. Absolutely ludicrous. He is breaking the game. As we know, he's just unplayable.
He hasn't blanked in about 4 months.
It feels like it, doesn't it? I think he's blanked twice all season or something crazy like that, right?
I'm going to take it. He hasn't blanked since Gameweek 7.
Wow. That's utterly crazy. So he's blanked twice all season.
He blanked twice all season.
18 returns, 2 blanks. What the hell's going on?
Stop it. Stop it, Mo.
Yeah, he's actually broken the game.
You're ruining the game.
You know what?
Ruining it. You're ruining it.
I told you last episode that I play draft fantasy. Guess who's the top of all of my draft fantasy leagues? The one guy with Salah. The one guy with Salah. He's broken draft mode far more than he has actual FPL.
I bet he was second pick as well.
He was, yeah. In both the leagues I'm in. Yeah. But anyway, Salah is top. Number 2, we see Palmer with 0.8 expected goal involvements per start. In third, Bryan Mbeumo, 0.7. Like I say, it is massively inflated by that Southampton game, but still
6 game weeks, so that Southampton game probably taking a big impact.
It has, and also that Newcastle game was in the data as well. But in fairness, there is Chelsea 0.53 xG, Nottingham Forest 0.51 XA. So there's a couple of little trinkets of other like decent data there as well. So it's not just the Southampton game. I don't want people to think I'm just saying that. But yeah, anyway, after that, we see Gordon, who has been much more of a consistent performer. He's at 0.6 expected goal involvements per start. And he's joined by Savio, Fernandes, Foden, and McAllister and Son, all on 0.6 as well.
I want to ask you something a bit stupid.
Yeah, go on.
What do you reckon about McAllister?
No.
You don't like him?
Don't even go there. He has been really good. Don't get me wrong.
You're buying a player of equal FPL quality over the last 6 game weeks to Gordon and Son and Foden.
Yeah, but exactly. I'm not buying Foden. I'm not buying Son. And McAllister's data is based on 4 starts, not 6. So it's like a slightly skewed. Slightly skewed. And I
was thinking about it when I saw those. So obviously the United game, McAllister got 2 assists.
Yeah,
and I saw that, and I was like, I feel like I see McAllister's name pop up a lot.
Yeah,
I wonder.
Yeah, he genuinely looks good at the moment, and he's popping up and he's making late runs and he's getting in the box.
And like obviously the joke last season was Mac 6, right? And he's playing Mac 8 now, and that's when we like him. And when he was at Brighton, he was a really good FPL asset in 8.
Yeah, but he was also taking penalties and free kicks and what have you back then as well.
Yeah, I guess one of these days Salah's going to get substituted early.
But anyway, like, yes, McAllister's in there, but like, I think, yes, we can look at this data, but we also need to consider the history of a player. We can say that Foden and Son are here, but like, these are also players who we know they have a strong history of doing this continuously, so we have a good idea that it's just going to continue naturally. Whereas McAllister is more difficult to say that. Savio is interesting. A lot of people asking about him this week. Pep Roulette, are you going there?
I don't think Pep Roulette is a problem at the moment.
I knew you would be more keen on Savio than I. I knew you would be.
I'm not keen on Savio, but just on the question of Pep Roulette and rotation, Pep cannot afford to tinker. Savio is the only thing that works at the moment. Because he's been playing not Savio, but anything that's working at the moment, you can't change. You put 2 wins on the bounce. Yeah. You can't change it.
No.
And
you can't drop any more points.
Yeah. And Savio has, every time I watch City, he's such an outlet. He's such a threat. Yeah. There was concerns a little bit earlier on. He was a little bit more erratic. He is still very erratic. I would probably not go for him at the moment because of how much we've seen. Because Savio's played quite a lot over the season. Yeah, he has. Like, he's only scored his first couple of goals now.
Yeah, and it seems to be mostly assists that he gets.
Yeah, and dodgy assists.
Yeah, but you say it's dodgy assists, but like because he's such a brilliant football player, like he creates in quite a magical way.
Yeah, he's dynamic. He's like Doku when he first came. You know what I mean? It's exciting. It's exciting, but.
Or like a Mahrez. Yeah. Something like that, right?
Yeah. But I'm not fully keen, but I'm intrigued. Like, Mbeumo would be like the safe transfer. Savio would be the fun transfer. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'd be interested. And plus City's fixtures are still good, aren't they?
They've got 2 good fixtures up next. They've got Brentford and Ipswich in the next 2. Then it does get a bit worse. They play Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool in the 4 after that, which isn't as good.
So maybe it's just a quick 2-week punt.
Yeah, I think that's a little too short term for me. But like, there is an argument, and you can say the same about Gordon actually. Like, if you're buying Savio or you're buying Gordon, or if you own them already, they both dovetail quite nicely into Mbeumo. So Gordon as well plays Wolves in 21, Bournemouth in 22, Southampton in 23. Then he plays Fulham, City, Forest, Liverpool in the next 4 after that. So we kind of mentioned about the good time to buy Mbeumo could be in a couple of weeks' time. It could be that if you're a Gordon owner right now, and I am a Gordon owner, I'm thinking, could I jump off him, go for Mbeumo in a couple of weeks' time maybe? Could that work? So that's definitely an option. We've got Bruno in here as well. I would say Mbeumo and Bruno are probably the 2 safest guys here and long-term holds.
Gordon as well, surely.
I don't know if Gordon a long-term hold? Maybe.
Yeah. He's a very important attacking outlet for a team in very good form at the moment.
But a team in very good form.
But for a long time, they're like the 5th in the league now. Like,
they're doing really well.
They've been doing really well. They've smashed through lots of teams over this whole like last 8 games, right? So I do think Gordon is still definitely a strong buy. That's why people
Yeah.
have been clamoring over the last couple of weeks.
No, he is for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, for me, he would be a long-term hold as well.
Okay. Outside of that, maybe I'm struggling to see players that I would like be buying in midfield right now. I would say certainly everyone has Salah, everyone has Palmer, and Mbeumo, Gordon, Fernandes seem the super sensible ones to go for. Savio feels crazy looking for something short term, but I don't think I'd go there either, to be honest.
Yeah. Are you putting Bruno in that sensible list?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am.
How come?
Penalty taker, set piece taker, fixtures aren't too bad. Like Southampton is the next fixture. So you've got that instant potential return, which is always nice when you're buying a new player. So I do still like him. Sarr is on there for Crystal Palace. He plays Leicester next. Quite nice. So again, another good time to hop on to him. He's been so unlucky recently, but his data is.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
Yeah. I mean, but like, what can you say? He's had a goal disallowed in that time. He's had a
He had a goal disallowed for being offside.
Yeah. Oh,
Timber had a goal offside.
When we're talking about Chris Wood, we were saying, oh yeah, no, he did have that goal disallowed, so it's unlucky.
No, because he had a goal disallowed after scoring 10 plus goals.
Yeah.
Sarr scored like 3.
Yeah.
No, come on, man. Come on, man. Sarr has been a big disappointment.
He's looked good.
He's looked all right. He had one game where he was unlucky to not return. I think outside of
the
that,
Southampton game.
I think it was that.
He had that 1-on-1 with Ramsdale.
Yeah.
And Ramsdale pulled off a really, really good save, which was really frustrating. But he created a lot in that game as well. But again, that's Southampton. So
Eze's not on this list.
No, because Eze's data is genuinely not that good.
It's a good option, surely.
But he's a good option because historically we know he's good. But then you can say the same thing about like a Foden or I don't know who else. I don't know. I think people will consider Eze, but I do like my FPL picks to be data backed. It doesn't have to be all about data. You watch football players and you think, oh, he actually looks really good at the moment. He looks on red hot stuff. If that is massively true, then maybe you can ignore data to a degree. But with Eze, he's popped up a couple of times, got an assist, a goal. Hadn't really done that much outside of those things whenever I've seen him play. So I think Sarr is the more exciting Crystal Palace pick at the moment. And if we're considering value for money, Sarr is probably the better pick. But I don't know where else to go on this list. Martinelli, Ahmad, people would maybe say.
Two final options I want to quickly mention.
Yeah.
So Luis Diaz seems to be constantly starting at the moment.
Yeah.
Arne Slot seems to be relatively sure on his starting 11 right now. He has been picking up returns. He was interesting at the start of the season. He's become interesting a little bit more recently.
Yeah.
Is he one that you would consider?
I don't think so. I think I'm still worried about minutes there. With, I don't know, Jota knocking on the door.
Yeah. And he's not playing in his preferred position. I think that's a little bit concerning for me. Because Gakpo is playing off the left. Well, to be fair, they rotate
It's
so often.
mixed, yeah.
Yeah. They, one time you'll find Gakpo popping off the left, another time you'll find Luis Diaz. But given that Jota just hasn't been starting and Nunes just hasn't been starting, is it something that you'd be considering? Luis Diaz only has one benching over the last 7-8 game weeks.
Yeah, but when a team is winning consistently, things change less. Liverpool just coming off the back of a 2-2 draw with Man United in a game that you thought they really should win. And I guess when you watched the game, Liverpool are not good. They weren't. There was one of the weaker performances of the season. And it's at these moments when you do have a deep squad and lots of options there, these are the moments where you do start to see a little tweak. And then our perception of who the nailed-on players
gets to change.
It changes a little bit. So I worry that is what's about to happen. We've got 2 cup games for Liverpool. They play League Cup against Spurs, FA Cup game. I can't remember who they play in the FA Cup. Let me have a look at Liverpool FA Cup. So they play against Accrington Stanley. We're not going to learn anything from that, let's be honest. But yeah, we've got 2 games to see, to try and get some information.
Is it League Cup this weekend or is it FA Cup? It's FA Cup, isn't it?
It's FA Cup at the weekend, League Cup in the midweek. So League Cup's going to be in the next few days. and then FA Cup at the weekend.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm worried.
It's interesting, but yeah, I'll probably share your concerns. Final one is Martinelli, who again has been popping up recently.
It depends where he plays. Like, if he's playing off the right, I don't really like him.
Because Ranieri is injured at the moment
Yeah.
for a few weeks now. Obviously, Saka's out as well. So who plays there? Trossard could play on the right and Martinelli off the left?
Trossard would play on the left. That's it.
Or vice versa, yeah.
It's Trossard on the left. And if Martinelli is able to play on the left, it would be because Jesus or pretty much Jesus playing on the right. I don't think we have any other options really to play off the right. It's going to be Jesus or Martinelli, and out of position Martinelli. And I just don't think he's as effective on the right.
Yeah.
So I think that worries me a little bit about Martinelli. But Arsenal's fixtures are really good. In fact, let's have a quick look at fixtures, because we've mentioned a lot of options there. I think data's one thing, but they also have to have good fixtures to deal with that. And this order of best fixtures is the Fantasy Football Hub's ordering of things, and it's taken into consideration a potential double game week between Everton and Liverpool in 24 or 25. We don't know when it's going to happen, but these are the earliest predictions of when that double game week might happen. It's going to depend on some cup results, which we'll find out more about in the coming weeks. So yeah, Everton and Liverpool are at the top because of those potential double game weeks, but Arsenal are in third, which is why I wanted to flag this up now. If you are thinking about Martinelli, you do have the fixtures in your favour, which is quite nice. I mean, Ødegaard's another player some people might be looking at, but
I wouldn't.
Nah, me neither. He's just not an FPL guy. He's a good player. I mean, he's an incredible player. He's not had an incredible season.
He would be an FPL guy if you guys were scoring more. You're just not scoring enough for me at the moment.
Arsenal are so difficult because we'll score 4 goals one game, and the next game we'll struggle to score 1 goal, and it'll be like try and grind out a 1-0 win. And then like next game, Arsenal scored another 3 goals. Like it's weird.
I mentioned this at the start of the season. I think Arteta's completely changed how he plays.
Yeah.
I think Arteta.
Well, not completely. He's just gone extreme.
He's become very defensive.
Yeah.
He's become very like that's not how you were over the last 2 seasons.
Well, we have been a defense first team.
The first season that you guys almost won the league.
Yeah.
Very attack minded team. Strong defensively, but a very attack minded team.
Yeah.
The second season, he started pulling the brakes on the bigger games.
Yeah. Pragmatism.
And it was literally just against Man City and Liverpool.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Maybe a bit against like a Chelsea or a Spurs.
Yeah. Spurs, not Chelsea, but you did it against Spurs. The third season, it's just happening more now.
Every game.
Yeah. And I don't get it. And I do get it. I thought that's what he would do because that's what he thought would end up winning him the league.
Would be that winning formula, yeah.
But it's just not happening for him at the moment. So that's probably a strong reason why I'm not that keen on Arsenal assets in general, because I just don't feel like that impetus to score is as high as it was once upon a time.
Yeah, but it's a system that relies on individual quality as well. So when you've got players like Saka and Ødegaard firing, you can get away with playing like that because there's still going to be goals at the other end because of that individual brilliance. But if Ødegaard's a little bit off it, Saka's injured, I don't really think Arsenal really have too many more magical players like that. So I think we are going to see a lot of games where it's like 1-0 wins. But at the same time, we have seen Arsenal score multiple goals in games. Like every other game week, Arsenal score a bunch of goals. Game week 20 was one of the 1-goal game weeks. Game week 19, they scored 3. Game week 18, 1. Game week 17, scored 5 against Crystal Palace. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Involvement, though.
No.
Injury ruined my game week again.
Ruined everyone's game week, to be fair. But look, the fixtures are good. Spurs, Aston Villa in the next 2. I think they're both nice fixtures on paper. Wolves, Man City, Leicester, West Ham. Any Arsenal player you pick up now is a good medium-term hold. Newcastle are in there next. They've got Wolves next, which, like I say, I think that's I don't love that fixture. It's a home game, which is good. Then Bournemouth, Southampton, Fulham, City, Forest. So there's still some good fixtures in here in the short term for someone like Gordon, if you did want to go there. Fulham, not really any midfield options for me. Fulham are like a weird team. Their FPL returns are so spread. You don't know who's going to be the one getting the goal or the assist. It could be like any one of their 11.
Just definitely not Iwobi.
Yeah. But no, it could be Iwobi. But like, you're rolling a 10-sided dice every time a goal goes in.
Yeah.
That it's going to be Iwobi. I think we said this last podcast. We've got, what other players did we mention? So Brentford, right?
Yeah. So Brentford are sat there towards the bottom.
Yeah.
Man City, Man City, Liverpool, Crystal Palace, Spurs, West Ham, and Leicester. Spurs here isn't a green fixture. Neither is Man City. Both of which I think are underrated on this scaling, which I think is dropping them lower.
Yeah, and we've got to consider attack versus defense. I've just put general.
So I think Brentford are underrated here. I think Forest are underrated here as well. Obviously, that is being pulled down by Fulham and Bournemouth and Liverpool, obviously. But some very solid fixtures, if you ask me. I mean, given
for Forest,
and
there's 2 good fixtures in there: Southampton and Brighton.
But I wouldn't say Fulham and Bournemouth are awful fixtures.
Away from home as well. They are. In fact, no. I would say that they are like worst 6-7 fixtures you can have. Away from home, I'd increase that.
I don't know.
Like these are good defenses.
Like I would say a more difficult fixture would be Arsenal, Liverpool,
but then
Forest.
No, I would put Forest in the same category as Bournemouth and Fulham.
No.
No,
not for me. No.
And I'm a hype guy for Forest.
Like I don't think Bournemouth and Fulham are easy fixtures. I think they're great. I think they're great basically. So I don't think they're bad fixtures basically. I don't think they're bad. I don't think they're good. I think they're decent fixtures, particularly for a team like Forest who are very much in form. I don't think they're bad fixtures. I think the only bad fixture in that list is Liverpool.
Newcastle away, Gameweek 26.
Junks away.
It is a while away, yeah.
So I think them two are slightly underrated. Like for example, you've got a team like, let me see, someone who's higher up who has more difficult fixtures, like a Spurs who are playing Arsenal and then Everton, which for me is a red fixture. Leicester, great fixture. Brentford, great fixture. Then Manchester United, Ipswich. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they are rated correctly.
I can't really remember what other midfielders we were talking about. Bruno, Manchester United are kind of towards the top. Southampton and Brighton next 2. That's nice.
Yeah, but I just don't trust Manchester United.
All right, that's completely valid. Crystal Palace, Man City, where are they? Oh, right at the bottom. Really low. Because the next 2 are great, but they're away.
Yeah.
And then the ones after that, just horror.
So does this answer the Savio question?
No, I don't think I'd buy him. It's so super short term. But he's a short term pick regardless because of the rotation risk. I don't know. No. That does answer the Savio question.
Yeah.
And the final team, Crystal Palace.
Looks very nice.
Leicester, West Ham, Brentford, Man United in the next 4. All games with goals. Then Everton at home, Fulham away. We'll see where Everton are by that point. You like the Fulham away fixture for some reason.
No, I don't like it. I just don't think it's a bad fixture. I think it's a solid fixture. I think it's a reasonable fixture. It's a game that you can get goals in.
Well, I think you've just upset a lot of Anthony Robinson fans with that one.
Anthony Robinson
because they're hoping
don't
for a
get
clean
their
sheet.
Points from clean sheets. They get them from assists.
That's true. That's very, very true. But anyway, let's move on to forwards and Nicolas Jackson. Okay, so a lot of people are probably going to be selling him because he is blanking a few times in a row. 4 blanks in a row. Hasn't scored since Brentford in game week 16. Even before that, blanked against Spurs, blanked against Southampton. It's been a barren spell. Wait, 1 return in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. That don't sound great.
Have a guess when I bought him.
Yeah, I think exactly the same for me, actually. Yeah, I bought him in game week 14. He's returned once since then. Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's a really, really difficult one because people will be inclined to sell him. I think some people will be worried about rotation. I'm not personally concerned with that because Chelsea are so much better with him in the team. I think that's so evident. This is the problem. his fixtures are still good. Bournemouth at home, Wolves at home, City away, West Ham at home, Brighton away. This is a nice run. It's good enough. Even after that, Aston Villa away, Southampton home, Leicester at home. Like, you can comfortably keep him for the next 8 game weeks. You've got good fixtures week on week, which we don't expect him to be rotated in. There's no more midweek fixtures. Even in game week, the transition between game week 21 and 22, Chelsea actually have 6 days between their 2 fixtures, when most other teams have like 3 or 4 days between fixtures. So Chelsea are in a pretty good situation there. And the data is actually really good. Yeah, worryingly good. So his non-penalty XG is 0.43, which puts him 5th among forwards over the last 6 game weeks. Shots, 3.6 per game, first. Shots in the box, 3.2, first. Big chances, 0.6 per game, which puts him in 12th. So he's getting less big chances, which I think goes in contrast to what a lot of people's perception seems to be of Jackson. Oh, he gets loads of big chances, he always misses them. The data tells us a very, very different story. That actually he's getting a lot of low-quality chances, and that's perhaps more likely why he appears to be missing chances, because the chances are of lower quality. Let's compare him to some of the other forwards available. We know Isak is like goated forward right now. 1.3 expected goal involvements per start. Everyone outside of that is a drop-off, a significant drop-off. Haaland, 0.7. Havertz, 0.6. Vardy, 0.6. Jesus, 0.6. We mentioned Jesus. Did we mention Jesus earlier?
We mentioned Jesus briefly because I was going to roast you.
Yeah.
Jesus' data is
good.
I beg to differ. It's not good.
Why?
His XGI per game
is 0.6.
Is akin to Delap and Vardy.
Yeah, but like, it's this FPL. We're not talking about trying to find like.
On top of that,
you have to compare him with the other players available to you.
On top of that, he's a worse finisher than everyone on this top 8 outside of probably.
Is he? He's a worse finisher than Havertz, Delap.
He's a worse finisher than Isak, worse finisher than Haaland, I will say worse finisher than Havertz, worse finisher than Vardy, worse finisher than Delap, worse finisher than Gakpo. Maybe Solanke and Jackson will probably his better finishers then. And Solanke is even arguable too. So you're expecting an underperformance to his data?
Maybe. Well, it depends on the form he's in. Because the form impacts how much a player will finish their chances.
Oh, would you say he's in good form at the moment?
Yeah.
Would you say he's likely to end up playing on right wing as opposed to up front?
No.
So who's going to play right wing?
I think Martinelli's going to play right wing.
Okay. So Havertz plays midfield?
Yeah.
Despite the performances in the team so far?
I don't think Havertz is even guaranteed minutes right now.
Wow. For me, Jesus is still just not an option.
I don't understand why.
Because he's such a poor forward finisher. He himself says to TV and people, I'm not good at scoring goals.
But he scored quite a few goals recently.
He scored 5 goals against Crystal Palace. Outside of that, he hasn't. He scored 1 goal outside of that.
Yeah. What about the assists?
1. It's assist. Assist.
Well, 4 games.
Singular.
Wait, so you're saying last, what was it, 4 games? 5 games?
In the last 5 games, he's got 3 goals.
He's got 6 goals and 1 assist.
You're counting
all comps.
You're counting all comps. Okay. Well, 5 goals are against one team. Three of those goals were outside of the Premier League.
So you're saying that he's a Crystal Palace specialist and he's only going to score against Crystal Palace?
Do you remember that player that played for West Brom, who ended up only smashing it when he played Chelsea?
No, who was that?
I remember the last season when West Brom were in the Premier League.
Yeah.
That guy must have got something like 6 goals or 5 goals against Chelsea. And for the life of me, I can't remember the name of the player.
Do you mean Pereira?
It could be.
Mateus Pereira?
It could be.
Who scored a few goals against Chelsea.
Okay, maybe 5
last time they played.
But played for West Brom, and they absolutely done Chelsea in the last time they played. I think they've done a double over them.
Or Callum Robinson, maybe?
Robinson. I think it was him. I think it was him. But either
I've not heard that name in time.
Gabriel Jesus is basically just a Crystal Palace play like Suarez against Norwich. But
hey, if you're calling Jesus Suarez, then I'm gonna keep him.
But for me, he's just not a good option. And you know what? Maybe I'll be proven wrong. Maybe I won't. But I wouldn't touch him.
I'm not saying that Gabriel Jesus is some kind of world beater, but like what I am saying is that we look at this list of forwards and there is nothing here. Like Jackson 0.5 XGI per game. That's like pretty much the best you're going to get right now. People are like saying, oh, Chris Wood, he's so good. Oh, you have to get Chris Wood. Like he is the answer to all our problems. He has pretty bad fixtures, but it doesn't matter. We're going to buy him anyway. 0.2 expected goal involvements per game.
Yeah.
Like that is the standard.
Yeah.
If people are saying a player who, you know, would like blank, like I don't know what the result is in the Wolves game, but prior to the Everton game where he got a goal and assist, he blanked 3 times in a row, scored a goal and assist against Everton. We'll see if he scores against Wolves or not. You know, and he has Liverpool next. He has Bournemouth, Fulham, Newcastle, Arsenal, all in the next sort of 7 game weeks. If that is a great pick, then how can Jesus not also be a great pick?
Because the data doesn't tell the whole story. Wood is a great option because of the team he plays for, the system he plays for, the performances he's put in throughout the season.
Yeah,
right?
no, he's been more consistent, granted.
It's like Cunha. You can't look at that Cunha data and say he's not a good pick.
Yeah, he's a freak.
He's a freak. He's just a brilliant player playing for a brilliant team.
Is Wood a freak?
Wood's not a freak, but he plays for a team that really... It's like Calvert-Lewin that season that Everton done really well. It's like...
You're not selling him to me. I'm not going to lie.
Spamming crosses in. Calvert-Lewin's bad now, but Calvert-Lewin was a great option a couple of seasons ago. Before the big injury.
Yeah.
But like, for me, Wood just feels like a solid option, which is reliable. You know what you're going to get.
Yes.
He will get you points.
Yes.
On the other hand, Gabriel is not. And he's unreliable, will likely not get you points.
High upside, great fixtures.
Very low upside. Very low upside.
He's proven his upside.
Very low. He has not proven nothing.
Of course he has. He
got a hat-trick once.
He's got 2 double-digit returns in 4 game weeks.
Is that true?
Yes. Wait, I hope so.
It's just one, surely.
No, because he got 16 points against Palace, 12 points against Brentford. Oh. He's a high upside player. Okay. I get what you mean. Like, he is obviously unreliable. And in 5 game weeks' time, it's very likely I will have sold him by that point. But, like, I think when a player is in good form, good fixtures, hit them while they're hot, man. Why not? It's so much more interesting than going for Wood. I don't blame people for going Wood. Like, if that's your play style and you want someone, or if you just want someone for long term, Wood is your guy. Penalty taker, guaranteed minutes, never going to be out that Nottingham Forest team unless he gets injured, which he very rarely does. He is super reliable, but it's boring as hell, man. Boring as hell.
Oh, fair enough. Raul Jimenez is one who's going to capture a bit of interest.
Yeah.
Quick flick over to the fixtures. What do they look like?
Sure. So, yeah, Fulham, decent fixtures. West Ham, Leicester in the next 2, followed by Man United, Newcastle, Forest and Crystal Palace. The Man United, Forest and Palace fixtures are at home, which I think does help. Yeah, you can feasibly play him and start him in all of those games with perhaps the exception of Newcastle in 24 away from home. Provided he doesn't get rotated. However, he's just scored 2 penalties. And I think that is maybe a little bit misleading as to how good he is as a pick. But at that price tag, was he 5.5, 5.6? Let's see here. 5.6. You're not going to do much better than that for that price tag right now.
Yeah. He's an interesting option. I probably wouldn't go there.
I think I'd go for Wissa if I'm looking in that kind of cheap bin area. I think I'd rather go Wissa.
Yeah, I would prefer to go Wissa at the moment. What's our final take on Jackson?
I don't think he's a sell. Not because he's amazing, but because, as we can see by the data, any player that you pick out of here is no more reliable than Jackson. People are saying, like, oh, I'm going to go for Mateta. Yes, Mateta scored in game week 20, He also blanked like the 6 game weeks before that. You know, Wood, like I said, I don't know the Game Week 21 result. Yes, he scored against Everton. He blanked the 3 game weeks before that. There's no player you can replace Jackson with other than Isak, who hopefully by this point everyone has, that is going to give you reliable FPL returns. That doesn't exist right now. So you're just switching from one reliable guy to another unreliable guy. And I feel like there's got to be a better use of transfers. That's my opinion. What about you?
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think Jackson's definitely not a sell. I think there's a bit of there's like flashes of Mbeumo for me going on in my head where, all right, he blanked for a while and everyone's kind of like getting cold feet. But we know what Chelsea are like. Yep. We know that this last string of 4 or 5 performances isn't what Chelsea are normally like. They're a high chance creating team. He's playing behind the best chance creating player in the league. I think the goals are going to come. So for me, he's not going to be a sell.
And he's still number 1 in recent game weeks for shots in the box. These are very good numbers. These are positive signs. They will. Data tells us that history predicts the future. And when you take this amount of shots, some of them will find the back of the net. Yes, it hasn't happened recently, but you know, FPL is a game of chance. You just you're trying to play the odds. You don't always know what result you're going to get, but you're trying to play the odds. And I think may the odds forever be in your favor, as they say in what's that film?
Hunger Games.
Yeah, that's the one. You watched the new one?
The new Hunger Games?
Yeah, they made a prequel.
Oh, really?
I think it might have been last year. To be fair,
is Jennifer Lawrence in it?
I don't think so. It's a prequel. She would have been a baby.
Surely she would have been. Yeah. No, I read the books though. So
read the books.
Yeah. I was
Aren't they for girls?
Huh?
Aren't the books for girls?
No,
they're not.
The Hunger Games. It's about killing people.
Yeah. What, you're saying girls can't kill people?
But it's not for girls if it's about killing people.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. My wife loves a good murder. Not like in real life, but she likes reading about a good murder.
Well, fair enough. Maybe it is for girls.
All right, let's move on. Game Week 21 captains. What are you saying?
It's an awful week for captain. It's an awful week for captaincy, and I know it's going to be very swingy. I think I'm likely to stick it on Isak actually.
Really?
Yeah. But obviously Mo Salah is playing the notorious Nottingham Forest. The safe captaincy is always to go for him at the moment. Cole Palmer is a top predicted points return at 7.6, playing Bournemouth. I don't think Chelsea are as convincing or reliable right now for me to stick the captaincy on Palmer, but he obviously has been returning recently.
If you've got a Haaland in your team, I think that's definitely got to be a consideration.
You got to go for it, innit?
Yeah.
You got to go for it.
I mean, if you're putting all of your eggs in the Haaland basket anyway, you may as well chuck a couple extra eggs in there and see what hatches.
Yeah. And plus, if you got Haaland, I imagine your rank is probably not looking brilliant, so it's probably worth it anyway.
Double down. Why not at this point? Yeah. You're finished as a season. You may as well.
It's probably a good time to go for it.
No, I agree.
I don't expect a humongous return from Salah. Notorious last words, but
he'll get a goal. Like the guy doesn't blank. We said earlier, two blanks in 20 game weeks. Like he's going to get something.
That's so mad.
He's going to get
one
something.
of those blanks was a 3-pointer as well. So mad.
Bruno's the last player on this list. He plays Southampton at home. I think if you have him, he's got to be a consideration.
I think United are just too unpredictable.
Yeah, that's like part of the fun. Like it could go really well though.
It could go really well, but it'd be very dangerous.
Yeah,
and one of these is gonna go off.
But that's kind of the thing about this week for captaincy. Like everything is dangerous anyway. Like this is definitely the week to try something.
Yeah.
Definitely the week to try something.
Yeah. What's interesting is Isak is on a very long goal scoring run. I think he's on 7 games where he scored 4 goals away from Vardy's record. I think he's probably eyeing that down.
7 games consecutively of having scored, and one of those games was a hat trick. 2 assists in that run as well. Absolutely insane.
He's on a bit of a tear, and whilst we're not going to be able to watch the Wolves game today, I am intrigued to see how they perform, and possibly based on what I see there, I might consider the Isak captaincy. If not, I'm gonna probably. You know what? I'm not gonna. We're gonna talk about my team soon. I'll explore that further. But what are you thinking with captaincy?
My current instinct is just leave it on Salah and have a stress-free weekend. Well, it's not even weekend, midweek. Have a stress-free midweek. There's just, I wish there was something more tempting there.
Yeah.
If we had like, I don't know, an Isak versus
Southampton.
even a Brentford, even a West Ham,
Mm.
I'll probably go there. But I don't think Wolves is good enough of a fixture anymore to go there. But yeah, we'll see what happens against Forest for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Let's move on to chip strategy. You wanted to talk about this today.
Oh, I thought you'd tell us.
I mean, I can if you want. I mean, you can if you want.
You tell us, because the only thing I know is obviously there's a possible game week 24, 25 double game week for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Triple captaincy is an option. Assistant manager is an option.
Yeah, maybe.
Bench boost, obviously, you want for the bigger double game week.
Yeah.
Same for the free hit, really, because you don't really want to be using it in a week when you'll be having a lot of players that you normally want.
Free hit's interesting this year. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. If you still have your triple captainship, then whenever Salah gets his double game week, including the Everton fixture, which is most likely to occur in game week 24 or 25, we're just waiting for cup results to verify where that's going to go. You're definitely going to want to triple captain that if you have that. You could potentially assistant manager someone like, well, it would be Slot, I suppose, in that as well.
Well, what would be very interesting for assistant manager is like having Amorim or Ange Postecoglou.
Yeah.
Because they're so low in the table. And they're going to play the likes of Bournemouth or not Brentford, but Forest and teams like that. And trying to time that, because you get a big, big return if they draw or beat a team 5 points, 5 table spots above them.
Even Crystal Palace, they're still pretty low in the table. So there is huge...
Everton draw Merchants.
Yeah. And if you keep clean sheets on your assistant manager, you get extra points for that. Yeah, like... People are going to play it 2 ways. The majority of content creators that I've seen are like, yes, I'm just going to play it on Slot. I'm going to collect my nice safe, like, I don't know, 15 points per week or whatever, 35, 40 total, and I'm going to move on. However, like, the upside of this chip is enormous. You can gain like 70, 80 points from this chip very feasibly if you play it on a manager from lower down the table. I want to play that game personally. I'm not even doing that badly in FPL, but I just like, if you want to shoot for the stars, you got to pick a lower down the table manager. I think it's so possible to do something very special with this. So that's what I'm going to be looking at doing, and therefore I'm not looking at Slot in 24-25. There's so much more that could be done, and they're thrown in this chip. We can use it in such interesting ways, and people want to just go safe. But I think that's a conversation for another podcast, because that's a real deep dive. We need a deep dive.
That is a good 20-30 minutes.
Yeah. Outside of that, so we're going to have a blank game week in 29, and this is going to be the League Cup final blank game week. Now, we know the semi-finals are Arsenal versus Newcastle and Liverpool versus Spurs. And what's super interesting is that we don't know the results yet, so we are going off predictions. Let's just predict that Liverpool and Arsenal go through. That's most likely the outcome there. Liverpool in game week 29, which is when the blank will be, face Aston Villa, and Arsenal face Chelsea.
Big blank game week.
So in game week 29, if the most likely outcome happens, as an example, we will see Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Aston Villa blank. That's half your team. That's 60% of your team. You're going to be on triple Liverpool because of that double game week, potentially, in 24-25. You're going to be on double Arsenal minimum. A lot of people will be on triple. You're going to have Palmer. You might have Jackson. You might have Enzo. You might have Colwill. You might have Rodgers from Aston Villa. Maybe some people have Watkins or whoever else. That, to me, tells me free hit.
Game week 29, if that happens, for sure.
Free hit.
For sure.
Right there. That is the free hit week. Because A lot of people will try and mess around with that. They'll say, "Oh no, it's fine. I'll just transfer out all my Liverpool players and then transfer them back in later."
Well,
So
I guess you could wildcard out of it.
you could, but we're talking about one. You have to save all your transfers for Game Week 29 to remove all your players. You're wasting a whole bunch of transfers. It's going to take like 4 or 5 transfers to fix this. And if you're doing that over the course of multiple game weeks, you could see yourself going without the very key Liverpool and Arsenal assets for game weeks around game week 29. And I think a lot of people think about the free hits. Oh, I want to play my free hit. I want to get an 100-point week on my free hit. It's not about that. It's about
Keeping the average.
securing, being above the average in that individual week, but also ensuring that your squad is still good in the weeks around your free hit.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, because free hit is a very tricky one, and you're right. I think game week 29 is going to be a very interesting week for it, particularly if we see Liverpool and Arsenal go through. Another double game week. Another blank game week in 34, and then doubles in 33 and 36.
Yeah. So
Assistant manager is obviously going to be very interesting around this period too.
It is, and let's assume we use the free hit in game week 29, because even if Newcastle blank in that week, I'm on triple Newcastle right now.
Who's your third Newcastle?
Isaac, Gordon, Hall.
Oh, you got Gordon as well.
Yeah. So a lot of people are going to be on. So even if Newcastle go through, you lose your 3 Newcastle players. Like game week 29 is just going to be bad news for a lot of people, regardless of who wins in the FA Cup, in the League Cup. Sorry. Who goes through to the final. Get a blank game week 34 occurs at the same time as the FA Cup semi-finals. So the FA Cup semi-finals do clash with the Premier League. So anyone who is in the semi-finals of the FA Cup and whoever their opponent is due to be in game week 34 will all blank. Obviously, we have no idea who that's going to be at this point, so it's very difficult to say. But that will be you would say, larger blank game week, but maybe less consequential as game week 29. But it just depends on who makes the semi-finals.
It's tricky to call from now.
Yeah.
It's tricky. I feel like beyond even game week 29 is obviously tricky to call. That's based on 1 or 2 fixtures. I think planning for beyond that is going to be a little bit too tricky. But I think it's something that you should have in mind when you're thinking about your chips. Between now and then, you don't want to spat out a bench booster or assistant manager. Or even your free hit before this. Basically,
I think the free hit and the wild card are more important, because basically you're going to need 1 around 29 and 1 around 34.
Yeah.
You're gonna need both of them to navigate 29 to 34, most likely, unless you've saved up a lot of transfers. And that should also be something in people's mind right now. Can I just, like, every couple of weeks just save 1 transfer and just try and slowly build up to 4 or 5 transfers by that point? I think it's going to be hugely advantageous.
Definitely.
And then finally, we've got double game week 33, 36. These are the open slot midweeks. Where fixtures can feasibly be.
Well, the 29 blanks will go into them, and the 34 blanks will go into them.
Yes, that's right.
29 goes to 33, 34 goes to 36. Surely.
That is usually how it works, more often than not. So yes, we'll see in the example we gave earlier, we'd see Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Aston Villa, all double in 33. Potentially.
That would technically be quite ugly blanks. Ugly doubles, sorry.
It would, because they're all facing each other and tough fixtures. You know?
So maybe 36 is better for a bench boost.
I think so.
Yeah. But obviously, you can't use your bench boost or your triple captain or your wild card whilst assistant manager is active. So be aware.
Yep, for sure. But yeah, I don't have a triple captain, so I'm thinking maybe game week 33 potential assistant manager.
Yeah. I might pull the trigger sooner just to take me out of this rut a little bit, but we'll see how things play out.
Yeah, it depends who blanks, who doubles.
Yeah, like the annoying thing is if you use it in a, like, for example 24-25, you obviously are going to have triple Liverpool regardless, but your manager also counts towards that triple up.
Yeah,
so you definitely can't have Arnold. You're going to have to go for Sean Dyson that double game week.
No way.
You'd have to.
Yeah, but you're not going to do that in a Liverpool.
But you'd risk it, right?
You'd get 0 points for a loss.
You get
0 points if you don't score. 0 points if you don't keep a clean sheet. It's pointless.
double game week.
Yeah, but like you may as well play it in a single game week at that point.
I don't know, man. Everton show out. Everton show out. For
You
these
think
Liverpool
Everton
games.
are going to get anything from Liverpool?
I wouldn't be stunned.
They need a goal or a clean sheet or at least a draw.
I would not be
They
stunned.
need
if
one of those three things.
I would not be stunned if one of those things.
Really?
Yeah. Everton tend to really give Liverpool a challenging game.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think you may as well play it on a single game week at that point. But I mean, that might not be the worst idea anyway, to be fair, depending on what else you got going on, how many other chips you still have, etc., etc.
It's something to think about. Something to think about.
But yeah. Anyway, that's what's going on. I wish I could. Well, we both wish we could tell people more, but it's like, we don't know until the cup games have happened. The cup games really have only just started. Like FA Cup's not even started yet. So we'll we can make more accurate predictions as time goes on. But that's the basics of it. Let's do differential of the week. So we didn't do differential of the week game week 20 because we weren't in. So this is our game week 19. You know, the scuffed episode.
Didn't I give a differential? Despite the fact that obviously we didn't do the episode, I assumed we were. So I sent you a message last week, Monday.
Did you?
And I sent you a message and I said, my differential of the week is Elanga.
And I said, oh no, we're not doing an episode.
And you said, we're not doing an episode.
Yeah.
Well, Elanga has had an assist so far.
Well, you got an assist.
I want my points.
Wait, what do you mean? Oh, right. So literally, as we're playing right now, Wolves have
conceded.
Elanga's got it. Who scored? Wood.
Gibbs White.
Gibbs White. A lot of people bought him this week as well. Well, congratulations to them.
So can I have my points, please?
No. What? So I'm just not gonna have. All right. I was gonna pick. No. He was above 5% ownership, so I actually wasn't allowed to.
Okay, I'll press you for an answer in the next 2 seconds.
Okay, Savio.
I think you're a little bit too late.
No, I was not. I picked Savio. I remember saying,
You got a computer in your screen.
I remember thinking it. Did I not tell you I was picking Savio as my differential of the week last week?
That's interesting.
Maybe I didn't.
I think you told me in your imagination.
Maybe we just void the whole week.
Okay, we'll void game week 20. 46 points to 87 for Dan. I've closed the gap. It doesn't look as ugly anymore. 46 points is respectable. I'm only 41 points behind. And I think this week, I think I'm going to do a U.
Come on, Em. All right, so just by the way, bear in mind that in game week 19, I picked Sar and you picked Mateta. I just want you to remember that for a second.
Have you done it as well?
No, so first of all, you've gone for Sar.
I've gone for Sar this week. Up against Leicester. Decent option. Wait, 5.2% selected? That can't be right.
Well.
He's not 5.2.
Well.
That means I have to change it, surely.
Okay, so this is what happened. I realised like half an hour before I left to come here that Sar was over 5% selected. He's at 5.2%.
Oh my god!
And like I felt bad messaging you and saying, okay, you have like 2 minutes to change it. So
I've got to change it though.
Should I just let you off? Should I just let you have it? 5.2 is not.
No.
Do you want to?
It'll be a hollow victory.
Well, yeah, but I like it when you have hollow victories.
No,
the only victories you've had this season have been hollow. So
I'm gonna go for Savio.
Okay.
Let me just quickly take a gander. Daniel Munoz is interesting.
Right.
Martinelli's interesting.
You have a think. I'll do mine. So mine is Mateta, by the way. So we swapped. Mateta against Leicester, 3.1% selected forward, and I don't mind him as a buy. But if you're selling Jackson for him, you're just selling one unreliable guy for another. But in general, if you if you have an injured forward or you really want to switch things up, then I think Mateta is a decent buy. I like him as a differential. I really do.
Okay, I'm going to go for Savio.
Okay, cool.
He is playing Brentford away.
Nice.
And Mr. Savio is currently owned by... Eventually, I will have an answer for you.
2.9.
There we go.
I think we've both picked differentials of the week that are genuinely buyable players. You could actually genuinely buy these players and they'd be good assets.
People are interested.
Yeah.
People are definitely interested this week.
Cool. Let's wrap up with some scores on the doors.
Yeah, it's not looking good, Breath.
No.
It's not looking good at all. I had a very unfortunate game with 20.
alongside a very unfortunate game week 19, because in game week 19, 3 of my players got suspended for 1 game. Cunha, Rodgers, and Timber all got suspended for game week 20, and I only had 1 free transfer. I also did a transfer in for Diogo Jota in game week 19, which worked out neither here nor there. I had 2 1-pointers and 1 6-pointer, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but what's awful is that he's not starting. Enzo's fallen off a cliff. Chelsea in general have fallen off a cliff, and I've got 3 of their attackers. And my defenders just don't seem to get points. And when they do get points, they're on my bench.
Yeah.
So it's not been brilliant. Trent obviously had a great game week 19, 0 points against United. Mikalenko, nothing. Castagna, nothing. Meanwhile, Hall's, Kirkez's, Aït-Nouri's have just been absolutely
smashing it,
railing me, to be very, very honest with my
graphic.
words. But that's where we are. I've tumbled down from about 700k to 1.3 million at the moment, so it's not looking good, bref.
Nah, that's rough, man.
So I've got 2 ways to go at the moment. I can continue to. Also, I captained Palmer when Salah absolutely smashed it. So that didn't go well last game week.
What game week?
Game week 20, game week 19.
19.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah.
So Palmer against Ipswich 2-pointer.
And then you switch back to Salah when Palmer outscores Salah.
I tweeted at the start of the game. 2 tweets out before deadline. One of them said, "I know I'm getting a red arrow this week. It feels inevitable, but this is where we are." My transfer was Cunha to Wood, and then I also said, "I just feel like Palmer or Isak can outscore Salah this week." Salah ended up matching Isak. Palmer didn't drastically outperform him, but
still,
I would have gained 3 points. Still had a mean red arrow regardless.
It all counts.
Yeah.
What about game week 21?
So again, 1 free transfer, bit of change in the bank. Jota is the big problem, really. Aside from my defenders, I think I can still get away with my defenders at the moment. I could go for Munoz, but I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if it's aggressive enough. Obviously, Rodgers makes his way back into the team. Enzo, I do not want to be starting. And Jota is too expensive to be benching. I'll do a quick roundup of the team. I've got Raya, Trent, Timber, Castagna, Cole Palmer, Mo Salah, Rodgers, Enzo currently, Isak, Wood, and Jackson. And Mikalenko and Jota on the bench alongside some non-starters. I think the plan is to sell Jota to either Mbeumo or Gordon.
Okay.
Or if I'm feeling frisky, Savion.
Nah.
That feels like a fun punt for 2 weeks.
It is, but it's like I feel like you're not resolving a problem. Your problem with Jota is you have rotation risk. He was a fun punt. It's high upside, but you need everything to go exactly your way to really get the results. And Savio's the same.
Yeah. So that really leaves me Gordon and Mbeumo.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone has players that are very similar to me, but still somehow massively outscore me, and I don't know where I'm missing the players.
Game week 20 was just an anomaly because there was like everyone has the same team, but some people have like that one player that pulls them out of the dirt. For some people that's Mbeumo, for some people that's Raul, some people that's Kirkez in my instance. You didn't have any of those 3 coincidentally for that one game week, but another game week, like, it'll be different. So I wouldn't be too negative, man.
Yeah, it's tricky. I think Mbeumo is interesting. Gordon's obviously also interesting. I can't have both. Well, I can, but just not this week. Maybe I'll do -4. But yeah.
Is minus Sar any interest? Like maybe an Enzo to Sar or something like that? Could you afford it? Maybe not quite.
I could. I've got quite a decent amount in the bank.
Yeah.
Jota to Mbeumo is 0.4.
Yep.
That leaves me with another million, which I would have I'd have more than enough to do Sar, because Sar's 5.9, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I'd have plenty to do Sar. I wouldn't be able to do Enzo to Gordon.
No.
I'd have to do who's my 5th midfielder? And Rodgers, probably.
Rodgers.
But I don't think that works either.
No, I wouldn't sell Rodgers at this point.
Yeah. So it's tricky. I'm not going to sell Jackson. Obviously not going to sell Wood or Isak. Trent is annoying, but he's got a double game week coming up, and he smashed it last week. So
yeah,
sometimes you just got to swallow those 0 pointers. Timber, concerning. Fixtures are not great. Maybe he could be a sell, but not this week again. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
So I think I'd do the Mbeumo move. I think I would just try and steady the ship,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then like from there, you can start thinking about, okay, where can I go there? Like just get that base squad settled and sorted where you're happy, and then you can start doing some more luxury things after that. That's probably what I would do. Maybe that's a bit boring though.
Yeah. No, it feels like a sensible thing to do. I am gonna start to get very aggressive very soon.
Yeah.
I just don't know if this is the week to do it. And like, I normally feel like there's a player that's like calling out at me. I don't have that at the moment.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. Steadying the ship first, plug the gaps.
Yes.
Stop having to start end zone.
And then just give yourself that freedom to then go ahead and do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. How's your team looking?
I mean, okay. Like I was massively bailed out by Kirkes. I am currently on a green arrow prior to the Forest Wolves game, but I think I will be on a tiny red, like a grey arrow by the time game week 21